Hello and welcome to
Live, Laugh, Lol.
We've Got Cancer.
Episode 9. 10, episode 10. Also, there was a pause just then, but we did not go, yay.
Yeah, I was conscious of that. We keep cheering that we have cancer and we're not that happy about it.
Surprisingly,
we're okay with it.
We're all right with it. We'd rather not.
Yeah.
We're only just all right with it.
Yeah, so we need to stop woohooing.
Yeah, we really do. I think this is episode 10, but let's not bang on about it, just in case it's not. What have you done this week, Jess?
This week, I have been very self-carey in the effort to lower my cortisol levels, relax myself. I have been for a facial. Today we got a pedi.
We did.
And tomorrow I'm doing oxygen therapy, which is a complementary therapy that's meant to be very good for cancer. You basically just get put in an oxygen tank with really high levels of oxygen. You can chill out,
read
a book, and then all your cells just get full of oxygen, which is apparently meant to be good. I'm not quite sure why, but...
One of those where some people say that oxygen therapy can help and doing all this oxygen stuff can help.
Yeah.
But it's not... The doctors at your hospital won't say that, probably.
Yeah, they haven't recommended it necessarily, but I think... I did see online that it is meant to be good for like post-op recovery, like if you've got surgery and stuff. I think in America certainly some hospitals will like advise you to have it or have it as a treatment. Oh my god! So it's not that out there.
Well, because some of the other treatments some of the stuff. Do you know I get on Instagram all the time soursop.
Oh yeah.
There's this magic leaf, and if you have soursop, then you'll be cured of cancer.
Nobody in South America has cancer because they all eat soursop.
They all eat soursop, or it's if you keep an alkaline body rather than acidic, you'll be free of cancer.
Yeah.
What else have I seen? Apple cider vinegar, and you'll be free of cancer.
Yeah. So we have fallen prey to some of that, or at least we're like,
we might as well try it.
But I feel
what happens if it is the cure?
I know. But the oxygen therapy, I feel like, has a bit more basis in...
Okay, well, that's good, because I thought it was as much of a basis as the others. Also, there's vitamin C infusion.
Yeah, that's a thing that I've heard.
We should do a whole episode. We will do a whole episode on complementary therapy.
Yeah. Because
there is so much to it. Some which are not backed in evidence, but are all over Instagram. Some that seem to have more evidence.
Yeah.
Some... that make sense but no evidence, I guess.
Yeah, like acupuncture. The NHS will recommend acupuncture even though on the website it says we're not really sure how this works, evidence-based wise, but it still kind of works, so give it a go. Yeah, they recommend acupuncture for menopause, so I get I'm actually paying for it because it was a year wait, but I did get prescribed NHS acupuncture. But so eventually, in maybe another 6 months, they'll come round and say I can have it. But then the acupuncturist is like, well, we shouldn't do your arm where you've had your surgery. But then the doctor doesn't say that. So it's all, you hear something from someone, something from someone else. And this, I know we've said it before, but massage, when I went for a facial this week, they annoyingly made me call my GP and get permission to do it.
An hour before.
Yeah, I was like, that's not going to happen, is it?
No.
But I did actually ask, written permission from my GP, and they said, don't do it over the area of cancer, but also, which I didn't realise, was essential oils. Don't have essential oils.
Isn't that just depending on the smell for nausea?
No, I didn't. I thought it was like a irritability thing,
I think if you're having chemo, your skin's more sensitive and you're more sensitive to smells. I think that might be it for the essential oils. But I'm not sure. We're just kind of making it up. But it's what I've heard. It's what I've heard on the grapevine.
But I had a lovely time anyway.
It sounds like a really fab week, Jess.
Yeah. Relaxing. And how about yours?
Really relaxing. I went to Kettlewell, the best village in the Dales. And we went to the duck race. And last year I went to the duck race and it was over in 5 minutes. The sun was shining and it was loads of fun. They just put loads of rubber ducks in a river.
I was going to say, for someone that's not from round these parts, is a duck race.
A duck race, you put loads of rubber ducks, like bathtub ducks, in the river in the Beck in Kettlewell. They do it in different villages, but the Kettlewell does it in the Beck. And it's a really short race. And then you buy some tickets, like a raffle. Your ticket goes along with a number of the duck that's in there. So if 600 people buy tickets, there's 600 ducks in there, and your ticket number is written on the bottom of the duck. But I think this year there was over 900 ducks. I think last year there was over 1,000 ducks. Anyway, last year, from the start, you see them all, set them off. Then you walk down to the finish line. And by the time I walked down, which is a 3-minute walk, they were already there. This year, the beck was really dry because we've had no rain. Yeah. So it wasn't fully dry, but it was so low, So it means that like the ducks are struggling to get past because they're getting...
Poor little ducks.
They're getting banked to all like the rocks that are poking out. So the beck was really low, but it was pouring it down with rain. But because it was so low, it took 45 minutes for these ducks to get through. And as we went up the beck at the end, people had actually just got into the beck and started chucking them forward, like just keep going. And it was just shitting it down with rain for 45 minutes. And I dragged Mark to that. I was like, Mark, you can have the best time at the duck race. And then we stood there for 45 minutes in the rain and did not win.
Yeah, I was going to say, who was the winner and what do you win?
First prize is 60 quid, then second prize is 20, third prize is a tenner, I think. And all the rest of the money goes to the village hall.
Oh, okay.
So it's a good cause and it's nice. And it's nice to be in the Dales.
Yeah, I was going to say doesn't sound like the best activity you've done recently.
It wasn't. We also went to the Angel at Hetton, which is a really lovely restaurant.
Oh, yeah, with the tasting menu.
It's quite expensive, but the food was really good. And I talked to them about my sugary, non-sugary needs, and they understood.
Accommodated. That's nice. I've always wanted to do a tasting menu. I've never done one.
Let's do it.
I'm not bougie.
You can be bougie.
I can upgrade my life at any time.
It's not about upgrading as a tasting menu. It's just about experiencing some different things.
Ooh. But I feel like I would miss the wine pairing.
So actually, both Mark and I said we didn't do... Well, Mark had a couple glasses. Obviously, I didn't really. But we both said it was better to do it without loads of wine because we appreciated the dishes more. Whereas before, we've been to nice restaurants, had lots of wine, and I couldn't tell you a thing that I've eaten. But this time it's like, I could appreciate the food way more, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So we've been very busy.
Yeah, look at us go.
Look at us go, girl.
And
cancer doesn't stop your life. You can still go to Kettlewell, okay?
Yeah, and have a tasting menu and watch ducks.
Exactly. Like, honestly, what we're all worrying for.
So this week...
Oh, yeah.
Because we had so many questions, we've got another pod episode to answer the questions that we haven't answered in parts 1 and 2.
We're just so popular. Part 3 of questions.
Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thanks,
submitting.
Guys. With no pressure at all from us.
No, not that we harassed everyone into sending us stuff.
Absolutely not.
So, question number 1.
Well done.
Which I think is a good one.
Started.
How do you want or not want people to talk to you when they see you? As in, like, initial, heard you got cancer, things that are good to
What's
say
up?
And not to say.
Yeah.
And we have had a few.
We've talked about this one.
A few not good uns. And a few...
We've had someone else asked, a couple of people asked this question, and one person phrased it as unintentionally bad.
Yeah.
And I think no one's ever said anything, and yeah, you'd agree.
Yeah.
No one's said anything bad, but there's been a couple of unintentional faux pas.
Yeah, and this is also from when I first heard this question, this is a bit of a difficult one because I feel like I know what I like and don't like, but I can't speak for everyone that has got a cancer diagnosis. It's not like an easy tick, like, oh, this person has got cancer and I've heard on a podcast that you can say this and you can't say this, because it might go down like a lead balloon with one person and another person might not mind. So it is a bit of a tricky one for us still to answer. But
we should go to your idea of one, because I'm a bit, even though you think... So Jess, shall I go? You go.
The thing that came to mind when I thought about this was people saying that I'm really brave.
And the reason I wanted you to bring that one up is because even though I do agree with Jess to some extent, and she's going to explain why, I do love a compliment. So
Call me brave all day long.
If you feel better for calling me brave, I will take it. But I do know what you're saying. So
I mean, it doesn't... I had to think a little bit about this. It was just something that a lot of people said to me at the start, like, oh, I can't believe how you're handling it. You're doing so well. You're so brave. And I think the brave thing really was like, I don't associate that at all. Like, I don't feel like I'm being brave. The way that I'm doing it is, you know, this diagnosis has been given to me and I just have to continue living my life. Like, what else am I going to do? I'm not going to sink into a pit of despair, but the fact that I'm not doing that doesn't really make me brave. Like, I think
with the word brave as well, and I think it's similar to the word strong, that when people are saying you're brave and you're strong, you're a bit like, what? Do I have something to be brave and strong about?
Yeah.
Is there a problem in my life that I'm facing? Because when you're not being called brave or strong, you're just hopping along like everyone else, and that's normal and that's
living
nice.
Your normal life.
But if you're suddenly strong or brave, you're like, oh my God, is my life absolutely
terrible? Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, when I was thinking about it more, it is a bit of a projection of other people's fear. Like, this might be me reading too much into it, but it was a bit like people were saying, oh my God, your situation is so bad. I can't imagine being in that position. Like, if I got that news, this would be the worst thing that could happen to me. And so the fact that you're continuing your normal life and not having a breakdown means that you're brave. And that to me was a bit like, I really don't like that, because you're just projecting your fear of this situation onto me. And actually, I don't feel like I'm living the worst life in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I know people are scared of cancer, but don't project that onto, like, I'm having a terrible time, because I'm not. Like, it's just my normal life and I just have to crack on.
Yeah, if you were having a terrible time, that would be terrible 24/7, because it is literally your life.
Yeah. So and my life isn't sad, guys. I'm doing fun things.
We're making a podcast. No one here. We're on Spotify now.
Yeah, exactly. Tune in on Spotify.
Exactly.
Pluggy plug.
There we go. Well done for bringing that up.
Yeah, so I think that's the only thing. I mean, you can call me brave if you want to.
Oh, well, I think what some people mean as well, that might not always come across, I was testing Jess on this. If someone said to you, you're brave for how you're handling it, or they said, I love the pod, you're so brave for being so open.
That's a different thing.
That makes sense, because it's like, okay, you think we're brave because you're proud of how we are managing ourselves. That feels really good. But when you're just brave, it's like
continuing to live your life.
That's
not brave. That's just me
being alive. Yeah, because because this bad things happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But brave for, like, sharing all of our thoughts and feelings on a podcast. I suppose that is quite brave, because
we're so brave.
It's not something that I really do in my normal life.
I do it for everyone.
Tell everyone everything.
I tell everyone everything. I'm an open book. I am TMI.
So your response to this question, though?
My response to this question is
faux pas.
Faux pas, and it's more about pregnancy. And obviously for me, I'm now in the menopause, so can you be pregnant? But can have a kid through surrogacy, which I've, like, jumped on before, and we'll do an episode on surrogacy someday. So I've had a few little things about pregnancy. So, for example, I really, really want to be in the loop when my friends get pregnant, because I think the worst thing that I'm scared of now is that people feel they can't talk to me about it, and they hide it because they think I can't be happy for them, or they think that it's so unfair that this has happened to me and they've found it easy to get pregnant, and they don't really know how to, like, communicate with me about it all. That would be the worst thing that could happen, because I'm super happy for all my friends, like, moving forward with their lives, with their family. It's not linked. My cancer is not linked to my happiness or unhappiness over cancer is not linked at all to your happiness or unhappiness over growing a family. They're just not linked. So I'm really, really happy. And what would make me sad is when someone doesn't talk to me about it.
Yeah.
But having said that, I have had a few things. I had one person told me right near the beginning that I was lucky I couldn't get pregnant because pregnancy was so hard. That didn't go down so well.
No, that's...
That wasn't so great.
That's a bit of a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, that was a bit of a quick response, maybe not thought all the way through.
Maybe a
panic response. I have had people, they've kind of, I've had people say how hard their pregnancy is. And this is a funny one, and it's a fine line. I do want people to be open and honest with me and tell me how hard pregnancy is, because I appreciate that it's really hard. It's not easy. But what makes it difficult for me to hear is when it's already been made better. So it's so difficult for me to even get up and make a cup of tea. So my partner is making all my drinks for me and allowing me to sit on the sofa because I just can't even get up. To me, what you're telling me is that pregnancy's made your bond closer and that you're a really tight working team, which is something I really wanted and don't feel like I have. So I don't begrudge that it's hard, but that's not what you've told me in that story. And so if you reframed that story and said, pregnancy's hard, but it's made me and my partner so much closer and they've really helped me out, that is something I can relate to a lot more than when it's framed as so negative, because listening to someone be negative over something that I really wanted is a tough one. Yeah, that's a hard one, and I can't really relate to that. I'm like, it just sounds to me like a positive thing. So
yeah.
And I've had I had a friend try and tell me that she's known people, they've found pregnancy really hard, and it's coming from the best place, like, don't worry if you miss out on pregnancy, it's a really difficult thing, at least you don't have to do that, and there's surrogacy, and it comes from a really positive place. But my answer is, if it's that hard, they won't do it again. Surrogacy is available to everyone. I'm paying for it. I don't get it free on the NHS. I had my IVF bit for free, to be fair. But, surrogacy is available for everyone. So if someone's finding it that difficult, they will do surrogacy. So when people say it's that hard and then they choose to do it again, that's another bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, if it is that hard, you won't do it again and you will have my sympathy. But if it's that hard that you're choosing to go through it more than once,
how hard can it be?
How hard is it? And I appreciate it is hard. So it's like I'm torn, because I understand it's hard and I don't want people to feel they can't talk to me about it. But I just would like it reframed of, oh God, my body completely changed. It was rubbish. But oh my God, look at my little baby and I'm pregnant and I'm so excited. Like, I think if you're just telling me the negatives, it doesn't come across well.
Yeah.
But you can tell me the negatives, but then in my mind, you should be still really grateful that your body can change, that your body's able to carry a baby.
Yeah.
For me, that's a huge positive. So just be careful in how you're telling me how difficult it is. I acknowledge it's difficult, but
just a bit of balance.
Just a bit of balance.
The context of the whole situation. I suppose it applies like for people that can't have children for other reasons other than cancer. Like, you just maybe an acknowledgement of that. And I think probably people are wanting to say it's bad, maybe to subliminally send a message to me that I'm not missing out. Yeah, but that's probably where it comes from. It probably is, but the thing I'm missing out on isn't simply not carrying a baby. The thing I'm missing out on is what my body is able to do. So people say like, oh, it's so tough. I'm like, that is why I was going to be so proud of myself. Because it was so tough, because your body goes through a transformation. That's what was going to make me so proud. So that's the bit, that the hard bit is almost the bit I'm missing. Or the bits when you become a real strong team with your partner. That's, another part that I'm missing. Obviously Mark and I are a strong team and we've faced different challenges, but I think people are trying to make me feel better, but actually the stuff that they bang on about that's hard is the bit that's hard to miss, because you wanted your body to be able to go through that. If it was really easy, I don't know if I would be as gutted to miss it, but it's this huge undertaking that you should feel really proud of yourself for, and you should feel really proud of your body for, and you should feel really proud of you and your partner coming through it for, and all your emotions and the physical changes. You should get all these feelings of pride, and that's what I'm sad not to have. Yeah, but it's like okay to acknowledge, like, okay, it's been really tough, but I am really grateful at the same time. Yeah. Like acknowledging the highs and the lows of the journey, not just saying, oh, it's really shit to try and make you feel like you're...
because it doesn't.
Not missing out on it.
Yeah, it makes me feel frustrated.
Yeah,
but
that's understandable.
Yeah, but obviously in real life I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, no, that sounds so difficult, God.
And I think that's kind of going on that train of thought. I was a bit conscious at the start that, again, people think that your situation is so bad that they don't want to have any minor complaints to you.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I found that a bit annoying because I just want people to be normal with me. Like, you're still in a friendship group and people still have hard times in their life, and you don't want them to feel like they can't tell you that because they're just tiptoeing around the fact that you're going to be thinking, why are you complaining about that when I've got cancer? Because that's not how I think at all.
No, I think, I can't believe so-and-so was a bitch. Tell me more.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the drama.
The normal.
It distracts us from our lives.
Yeah.
We need the drama. It's a public service to you all to feed us with the drama.
About things.
Like the more rubbish the thing you're complaining about, the better.
You just want a bit of honesty. I think maintaining the honesty in the normal relationship, that's the key, not tiptoeing around and like,
definitely don't tiptoe. God, I feel like we're saying this, don't tiptoe though, and I do mean don't tiptoe, but then with the pregnancy thing, I'm unsure that I'm giving mixed messages because I'm then saying, could you just have a look at yourself and be a bit more grateful for what you get? But in all other circumstances, bitch away. Yeah. So I might be giving mixed messages, but that is where we are.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't really speak for exactly how everyone else is gonna allow things to land because it is a minefield.
It is a minefield.
You just got to know the person well enough, I think. If you're good enough friends, you can forgive enough.
Yeah, and you can also just say to them, the things I've said on here aren't things I've not said to friends.
Yeah.
I can say all of this stuff to them. And it is a minefield, and I'm so sorry for everyone that's having to navigate that, but you asked and we answered.
There you go.
There you go.
So, next question
is... I was hoping you were going to read... I haven't got my glasses on.
How did you feel when you found out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and we talked about this before because it might not be the answer that everyone's expecting.
Yeah, so I think... I mean, I've mentioned previously when we had our diagnosis day pod, obviously the initial, when you're literally told, oh, there's tumours in your liver, it's cancer.
Oh, that goes in the shivers.
Yeah, I laughed and then I cried. But after that, I think in the months following, now that I look back, I think the reflection point has only come recently. Like, I've only just, I think, taken a breath and started to realise that, you know, I'm still living in the world of positivity, but I also might have to frame this as like just a chronic illness that I have that is being managed.
Yep.
And that's a bit of a reframing. But at first, I think you're just running on adrenaline. Like, it was just, right, you've got cancer. Okay, what's the next step? Do I have an operation? Do I start chemo?
What's the research?
What are the options?
What's the next appointment?
How do I change my diet? Like,
control.
Yeah. And so I think for a good few months, that's how the initial reaction was when I first found out. It was just, you don't even think about it that much, weirdly. You just think about your next step and what you need to do.
Absolutely, do not think about it. Do not look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Just think about that appointment and how you're going to get there and the small steps, because eventually it'll all fall in place.
Yeah.
I've got an analogy for this one.
Oh.
Another analogy.
Not the horses?
Not the horses, it's a bowling ball. I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
So, how I dealt with finding out at first, and it is the same to you as you, I thought of myself as this bowling ball, and as long as I went at pace and quick, I was going in a straight line, I was making progress, I was moving forward, and I was fine. And as soon as I took a little look sideways at, ooh, what's going on over there?
You start to wobble.
There was a little bit of a wobble. And it was, can't do this, get straight back on it, admin, what to do next, what to research, what to take control of. Ooh, little look, absolutely not. Get straight back.
Yeah. Bowling
ball needs to go fast and furious and straight to remain calm. And I've been reaching these points, a bit like what you've said, of I sometimes found myself saying, I think it might all be catching up with me. I think maybe I'm suddenly taking some time and it's going to hit me like a ton of bricks. And actually, That's not what's happening. What's happening is every now and again, it catches up with me in a way that I didn't expect. And then I put it back in its box. I fill my calendar with loads of stuff. I get that bowling ball straight back, straight onto like fast pace, moving, forward, straight line. And then I'm fine. And then I might have another little wobble and I'm like, oh, it's all catching up with me. And it's not going to hit me like, I know now it doesn't just hit me like a ton of bricks. I know now in like 4 or 5 years, if I'm alive that long, of course I will.
We will be.
That what I think is going to happen is I'm going to look back and say, like bit by bit, I was slowly able to process it. Like I was able to take a few days there and acknowledge some stuff, straight back on it. And then I was able to take a few days there and acknowledge some stuff and then straight back on it. I think that's the reality. I don't think there's this, movie moment of, and it suddenly hit me.
Yeah.
And I'm not one for those moments anyway. So I think that's how I operate anyway.
Yeah. And I think for me, this is where therapy comes in as well, because I have like a little scheduled time every fortnight where I can maybe take a pause and acknowledge it in a safe, non-overwhelming way. And then you've just got it for an hour, you let a little bit out, and then you just carry on with the bowling ball.
Absolutely.
And that lets it just seep in every so often, but you're not being overwhelmed.
Yeah. You can, barriers are up. The counselling are your barriers being up.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you go off course. You can have a wobble, but you can get back. All right?
Exactly. There you go. So that's how we've been
moving. And without discussing it, that's how we've both felt and handled it, just separately.
Yeah.
And now together. And now our distraction is a podcast. So
Yay!
now I spend my days making posters and getting really frustrated at Instagram. And that just distracts me from the joys of thinking about cancer and life. So, it's just fun for us.
Connected is when you found the lump, did you know?
Oh, yeah. Someone asked if I knew instantly that it was cancer when I had the lump. Absolutely not. I was like, of course it's going to be a cyst. That's what it's going to be. Or is there a lump? Like, I know there's a lump. Physically, like fact to my head, of course there's a lump. I understand that. But is there a lump? Is this what boobs feel like? And I just never knew. Yeah. I did not think it was cancer. When I started to know it was bad was literally when I was in the hospital, and the mood changed from here are your regular scans to come back in. Do you want a cup of tea? I can see you're still waiting. Is someone meeting you
with
here?
You? Yeah.
Yeah, someone meeting you here for your appointment. And I was like, it might be cancer at this point. But until then, I was like, not me taking a few hours off work to go to the hospital for what I'm sure is nothing. Not me chasing the doctors for an appointment. Not me walking into the Chancellor's Wing to the breast clinic surrounded by all these women, and these women coming here for good reasons, and me probably having to be sent straight back out, wasting people's time.
Yeah, it's mad what you can unrationalise in your head. Like, it's the same with me. I had such bad pain that I couldn't stand up straight because my liver was just causing everything on that side.
Yeah.
And I still didn't think, it might be cancer. I suppose because I didn't have a lump, it was pain.
Yeah, I think that's really difficult.
Yeah,
because it can be placed to anything.
It can be anything. And when you've got people telling you, like, it's a pressure point, I was like, should I be able to sleep?
I think it's a bit of IBS, Jess. I think you should just go back to bed.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
Like, bit of ibuprofen. That's not really working. I wonder why.
Yeah. 5 months later, we find out.
Yeah. So it is mad what you can ignore, which is a really, like, if you're worried about anything, just go to the doctors.
But now we've marked this to talk about later, but I'm going to bring it in now. One thing, someone asked what you're really grateful for, and we weren't going to answer it because we've talked so much about friends and family and we're so grateful for them. But one thing I'm really grateful for is I feel like my friends have taken positive action. So part of me is like, if I have to have stage 4 breast cancer, could all of you guys like not get it? Like,
yeah,
if someone in the group, you know what they say, like, someone will have it. Okay, I have it. Could you all not have it now?
Yeah.
And then that feels like I've taken one for the team. It's a bit shit, and like, honestly, I'd rather not have it. but I've taken one for the team now, so all of you guys stay healthy.
Yeah.
And they really have, without me saying that to them, I'm saying it to them now, to you all now, but without me having said that to them, they've all taken action. So I've got one friend, Steph, we love you, Steph. He's like, and I'm not saying this is because of the diagnosis, he might completely refute this, but I was talking to Mark and he thinks that it's to do with the diagnosis. It's like, I'm going to make the most of every day. He's like, I'm going to sign up for this. I'm going to book that holiday. I'm going to book that trip. I want to achieve this goal. I'm going to do. I've got other friend that's quit vaping.
Really?
Going to the gym all the time. I've got friends that are way more conscious about food. And for some friends that were already conscious about food, but then this happened and they're like, shit, no, I really want to think about it. So I feel like I've got loads of people in my life that are really making positive changes to themselves to be more healthy, people that are cutting back on alcohol, just all of that stuff, and that makes me feel really happy because I'm like, okay, everyone's looking after themselves. Yeah, and do you know what else is positive? My friend says this to me, and it does make a big difference. She says, think of all those people that you're impacting that you don't even know, and that's part of the reason why I've done the podcast, and I want to talk about this later as well. But it's that thing of people talking about me or talking about Jess to their friends, and then say in my case, talking about breast cancer, and then saying, someone did say to me, well, my sister, or it was her cousin or her sister, had been talking about a lump and hadn't really gone to get it checked out, so now they're going to get it checked out. Mark's friend's partner went to get a lump checked out. I don't even know if anything's coming of these things because I'm not close enough to these people that are going to hospital, but so-and-so's friend of a friend decided to get checked out, and it just makes me feel like, okay, yeah. You know, if I'm gonna have cancer, then at least I want something to happen that makes it a bit more worthwhile, like, okay, well, these people are getting checked and looking after themselves, so maybe they won't.
Yeah, I really hope that as well. I think, like, my cousins have recently started going to the gym and stopped vaping as well, and like, I hope that's as a result of like being a bit more health conscious, because yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, you're like, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And you want people to try their hardest to make it not happen.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, we were trying quite hard to be what we thought was healthy.
Yeah, I did think I was healthy, but I ate too much sugar and I wasn't perfect. And now, I don't know if I've said this on a podcast before, but here we go. I now have decided that my relationship with alcohol was really bad. And my relationship with alcohol was fine. If any of my friends are watching, they'll be like, what are you talking about? You really didn't drink that much. And I'd say, correct, I did not. I did not have a super high capacity for drinking. But now I'm having like a glass of champagne a month. I'm like, wow, me having 2 glasses of wine a night, maybe 3 or 4 nights on the trot, suddenly feels like a little bit like really indulgent. Like, and it had come beyond an indulgence because it was a regular
habit.
It was a habit, and there's no need for it. And actually, what we do all know is that alcohol isn't great for you. And it had, I think in my mind, it had become a little bit, my relationship with it was just too easy breezy. Like, oh, I'm going to the pub, so I've had a couple of beers and a glass of wine and a gin and tonic. Oh, I'm at the pub again because it's sunny, so I've done the same. And it's not the end of the world. It's not like I was drinking daily or that my binges were huge or I was having big nights out, kind of past that stage. But
just the low level consistency of it. I think
low level consistency, that's it.
And just that it's like it becomes so easy to just, you know, finish the day, have a little glass of wine with your dinner or whatever. Yeah. Like, that's
so nice.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a ritual. Yeah. And again, I didn't do it all the time, but I definitely, like, doing dry January, for example, would be a big thing because I'd be like, I can't even remember the last time I had a month where I didn't drink.
Although I'd like to do dry January, I felt like I can do dry January.
Yeah.
Like a bit of a challenge. But
now that I don't drink at all, I really haven't missed it, and it does make you think it did just like low level drinking a lot. Yeah. You're just putting a toxin in your body. And I know that sounds preachy, and some people should be like, I'll do whatever I want. If I want to drink, I'm fine. And that obviously is people's choice, but yeah, I think I probably would look back and think the same.
Yeah. So that's us. We are now, our body's a temple.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because we were forced into it.
And we're bitter about it and twisted, but our body is a temple.
But if friends can just, because, you just don't want, not that this is a terrible thing, but I do not want this to happen to any of the people in my life.
No.
And so if someone else can just take a little bit of like, oh, I'm not going to eat that processed meal, I'm going to cook something myself.
It's like a bit of responsibility as well. Oh, this was another thing I was thinking. Steph's going to get mad because he was like, just stick to the questions. But sorry, Steph. Another thing was, don't we feel like we've turned into a land of no responsibility for ourselves? So, you can see it at roads and traffic lights. It's just as simple as that. Roundabouts stopping being a free-for-all and starting to be traffic light roundabouts. There's loads of examples that I can't think of, but it's the same in medicine. It's like, have the medicine and don't worry about what you do to yourself. And it annoys me. It's like, we're losing, I think we live in a world and in a society of don't take responsibility. And when we're saying, maybe we're drinking less, obviously not smoking, whatever, that is us taking responsibility. And even though we don't want to preach and definitely like do what you want, I don't think if you do drink, that is going to give you cancer.
Yeah.
But I think actually also I think both things. I think do what you want, you probably be fine. And I also think, but take a little bit of responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, and just look after yourself a bit.
And it's too easy to not, because everything in our life we don't take responsibility for anymore. Yeah. Like imagine being in a business and you can mark it as bankrupt and you don't have to pay anything back. Like it is crazy, some of the stuff.
Yeah.
That we don't have responsibility for. So that's just a little side note.
Yeah, side rant.
Sorry. Yeah.
Next one.
Yes, Jess.
Worst side effects / embarrassing moments.
I'm going to quickly say about mine because it's a non-thing, and then I'm going to head over to you
because I've had loads.
She's got loads to say. I don't know whether it's that my level of shame is so low or if nothing embarrassing has happened, but I wouldn't be able to stand up and say, God, that was embarrassing. But again, I'm a pretty open book, so maybe someone would find it embarrassing and I don't. So I don't know. But Jess has loads, so let's delve into that.
I mean, I don't have any shame anymore because it's all been stripped away from me. Mm-hmm. Because obviously bowel cancer, as a person that didn't like toilet humour, nobody likes to tell strangers about their bowel habits, do they?
I don't mind it. It just keeps us all open and honest.
Well, I really didn't enjoy it, and something that I guess you didn't realise was that every time I have a CT scan...
I did not know this, no.
They can see what is inside my bowel.
Which means the poo that's not come out
I don't even want to say it. So I'm there as a rational, intelligent person just trying to have a nice conversation.
Who calls you rational and intelligent?
Certainly not my oncologist. And every time he's just like, so, on the scan we can see, how have your bowel movements been? Because we can see everything that's in there and I don't think it's moving properly. I'm like, great.
That's
okay, thanks a lot. Let's just go into detail. And there is a poo scale as well, which I have to mark myself on.
Not the Bristol stool chart?
Yeah.
Well, I've spent my life comparing my poo to the Bristol stool chart. This is what I mean. Me and my friends will constantly be like, where is it on the Bristol stool chart?
Yeah, I wasn't that person. Okay, but now I have to tell everyone in the medical profession all the time
where you're at.
Yeah, and there was another, obviously I've already told you about my excellent colonoscopy
That was a great one. If you didn't, we're not going to repeat the story now, but if you didn't watch it, go back and find the episodes that Jess talks about it on. So you might have to watch them all, but it will be worth watching them all just to get that story. Yeah, then maybe the last, again, this is so uncomfortable for me to talk about, but here we go. Martha, that is her actual name as well. I should have said it was an alias, but nobody's going to know. No one's going to know.
I was in hospital at one point. Again, they were like, how are your bowel movements? And I was like, I haven't been for 3 days. So then they were like,
I've constipated.
Excellent. Eyes lit up. Let's get you an enema. Fabulous. So I'd never had one before.
I've never had one.
And basically it just involves a little...
Tell us.
A little... bowl thing with a tube, and they have to squirt water up your bum.
Yep.
To make everything come out. So I was like, okay, fine, if we have to do this. And then my nurse...
Is this Martha?
This is Martha.
Yep.
Sorry, Martha. I was like, what's going to happen? How do I do this? Like, how long do I have to hold it in for? Am I just going to poo myself all over the hospital? And she was like, I don't know, just, when you need to go, you need to go. I was like, there's someone putting water up your arse. You're going to need to know immediately that you're going to go, right? Like, so she did it. She did one. And then I obviously immediately was like, oh, go run. Went to the toilet, nothing happened. So then I was like, right, Martha, because you've put me through this experience and you didn't tell me anything about it, it's your own inadequacy in this job. You're going to have to do another one. I was like, Martha, come back here with that enema number 2 because it's going again.
You're going to have to shove it up my arse.
So I made her do a second one.
Did it get rid of all the poo?
It did work.
I think, you see, if you're going to go through one, you need the results.
It needs to be done properly. And it was just so infuriating. I was like, Martha, you've made me do this and you haven't even done it properly. So now as your punishment, you're going to have to see my bumhole again.
She loves it.
Sorry. I'm not sorry about it.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry, Martha. So I hope she doesn't have access to this podcast because I did it deliberately and it's your own fault.
Oh, Martha. Actually, yeah, now she can't have access to. Poor Martha.
Sorry. Sorry.
This isn't a cancer story, but one time I was in hospital with septic shock or sepsis. It was one of the two. I'm really sure what the difference is. And I was in a lot of pain, and they shoved a painkiller up my arse, and it was the best.
Really?
The best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know if it's because I was in so much pain to so much not pain, or if it was because the painkiller is just so great. But it got to the point, I'm not lying, I was saying to nurses, I need another one shoved up my arse. Like, go and
do it again.
I need you to get another one. Like, I need another one right now, shove it up my arse. Like, I'm sorry, but swallowing them doesn't have the same impact. It's because it's quicker to the bloodstream or something. So, yeah, there's something about
there's a tip.
arses. Yeah, ask for the painkillers up the arse.
Perfect. I love that you said that was the best thing that's ever happened to you.
It was.
Well.
I'm like, still.
Even better than the wedding.
Maybe. It was like such immediate, like, yeah, okay. I'm not in so much pain anymore. You know when you're in so much pain that you are like almost not lucid?
Yeah.
It was that kind of...
Oh, maybe I should have asked for that when I was in hospital with pain.
Yes,
they just gave me injections which were useless.
Yeah, you've got like morphine stuff.
I know.
She's on the hard stuff.
It's another avenue to explore.
Yeah, we'll do morphine on a different...
Pardon the pun.
A different one. Is it a pun?
Pun avenue.
Are you talking about poo tubes?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, cool. That was a great...
Anyway.
Oh, sorry, Jess. That was a great pun. oh, that made me chuckle. Okay.
Embarrassing moment. There you go.
Dumb. Next one.
Advice to a person with a new diagnosis. What would you say?
We didn't prep for this one, but I did say that what I would say to them, which isn't advice, when I'd had my GP check, but I hadn't yet been to the hospital. So I was basically in my health scare phase, and I've never understood health scare before, and I was probably the person that might fob it off. If someone said they've got a lump but they're not sure, I'd be like, well, I don't know what you're worried about, because like until there's something to worry about, don't be worried, would have been I think what I would have said. But actually, when I was having a health scare, when the GP said, "Oh, I'm going to refer you to the 2-week cancer check before at the hospital," in those 2 weeks, I was scared. I was like, not spiraling, but Mark and I went to a gig one of the nights, and I remember like everyone's just there listening to the music, and my mind was just running races like, oh my God, but what happens if it is cancer? And what will happen to me? And will I be at places like this? And what does the future look like? And I thought the future looked like this. And so now I've got a new understanding. If someone's having a health scare, I've got a real new understanding for what that means. And, it's okay to feel scared.
Yeah.
Would probably be my advice. My advice would be, it's okay to feel crap. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be scared, but try not to live in it.
I suppose that links back to like, how did you feel when you first found out? I guess that's what people expect to be the thought process after you found out. But maybe there's something in the certainty of having the diagnosis gives you the direction. Whereas when you don't know what it might be, 1,000 things are going through your head, and you don't know what actually is happening. So it's actually more scary in that immediate bit where you know something's wrong, but you don't know what's wrong exactly.
I think that's so true. So this might surprise people. Might be really boring, but it could be a surprise. I got my 90% sure it's breast cancer appointment. And I'd asked in that appointment, like, could it be benign? And they were like, well, we're pretty sure it's not benign because of the abnormalities. All right, fine. And then I didn't get my phone call to confirm that it was breast cancer for 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. And at that phone call, I think people thought I was going to be really sad because obviously someone's just told me it's 100% sure I've got breast cancer. But I felt relief. I felt like, okay, I know what it is and I know where I'm going. And like in hindsight, I think I'm crazy because it would have been such better news if they'd said, I don't know, it is benign or it's a cyst. I think I knew it wasn't benign or a cyst in my mind. So I think the options were it's breast cancer or like I don't understand what it could be. Maybe you hear about a lot of people getting breast cancer, so maybe it can be managed, I don't know. But there was this element of just what you're saying of like, okay, well, I know where I can go from here. I'm going to just get it chopped out. Like, we'll move on. We'll make a plan.
You can have an action plan then when you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, there's a bit of a comfort to that.
Yeah.
But it does feel a bit odd to say.
Yeah.
Because we're not grateful for that being the news.
Yeah.
And yet there's a little bit of us being grateful that at least, okay, we can move forward.
You know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I agree.
But so advice is, feel your feels, it's all right, but listen to the podcast and get in touch and we'll go on a bowling ball marathon with you to help you just process it in little bits. We don't need to process that in one big
don't feel like it needs to be dealt with all in one go. Just keep going and look after yourself. So I think
no, I want to talk about Cancerland.
Okay. I was going to say...
Really, I shouldn't because the time's ticking.
Yeah, but we'll go. Cancerland.
Cancerland, final thing.
Final question.
Because I brought this up to Jess and then she said she had some thoughts on it, but then we didn't discuss them. Cancerland. So when we were doing this podcast, I think I at least had to really make a decision of if we do the podcast, we are going to be living in Cancerland. And I don't want to live in Cancerland because Cancerland is, you can't ignore cancer in Cancerland. So I could go to Kettlewell and live out of Cancerland and that's nice. And then you come back, you do a podcast, you're back in Cancerland. And that's a bit rubbish. But if I was going to have this diagnosis, I want it to do something for me because I need to find that positive. So the payoff of, you're in Cancerland, which is a bit crap. The good bit is that if I'm going to be in Cancerland, maybe I can make my life better. Like I was a teacher, I am a teacher, so worthwhile, feeling like I'm doing a good job in an AIP, which is like a school for kids that are struggling in the mainstream school. You really feel like you may be giving back and helping, making a difference, helping out. But in doing the podcast, it made me feel like I'm pushing myself out of my cancer zone, out of my comfort zone. But maybe this is me being pushed to give more. Maybe this was my moment in my life, my pivot to say, you know what, you were giving, but you are capable of giving more. So here's the challenge and what you're going to do with it.
That's, taking a positive out of
the negative.
Yeah, and it working for you. I like that thought.
Yeah, but then you mentioned about Cancerland, so I was wondering what you were going to say.
Mine was more of a negative Nancy spin on it, I suppose, is it being, you kind of being forced to live in Cancerland. And I really found that with the stuff this week, like even though it would be a self-care week, I'm having a facial, we're having a pedi, I'm going to oxygen therapy, great. But at every point in that process, I have had to declare that I've got cancer to people. And sometimes you just don't want to do it. Sometimes I just want to go about, live my normal life, be able to book a treatment and do what I want. But it was like, no, you have to call your GP because you can and can't have certain things. And, oh, you've got cancer, you have to make this declaration. And like, I couldn't do the oxygen therapy because I was wiped out from chemo. last time, so I had to tell them that and apologise and reschedule. And it's just like, you can't operate in the normal world
Cancerland takes over
without having to declare to people that you've got cancer.
But the thing is that you don't even have to declare, but because really, like if you said, you know, if you go for massage and you ticked all the boxes that you're fine, no one checks, but there is that slight fear of, but why do they need to know?
Yeah.
And if I don't tell them, what am I doing to my body? And without fully understanding it,
what am I doing to them as well? I don't want to get
they'd be fine.
them in trouble.
Because if you lied on your declaration thing, it
would be my fault.
It would be your fault.
Yeah.
Which is why they have to ask, like they're saying the blame's on you. But like you are a bit worried, and unless you have such a strong understanding on it all, which I don't yet, you are inclined to just be honest because you want to be safe.
Yeah.
We're going to a lot of effort here to be medical marvels. We don't want to throw it away.
Exactly.
But having said that, when I did the bungee jump, I don't know if I was 100% honest on the declaration.
Little white lie. No, fine. Nothing to worry about.
But I don't condone that behaviour. Do you, Jess?
No, I absolutely do not.
We do not recommend it.
I've been declaring it, but it annoys me to have to declare it all the time because I don't want everyone to know all the time.
Not all the time.
Like, I'm okay sometimes, but, you know, when you're just tired and you can't be asked, I just don't want your awkwardness projected onto me. Like,
it is an awkward thing that then sometimes we find we have to manage, and that is tiring.
It's like, I've got cancer, but I'm okay. Like, I feel physically well in myself.
Yeah.
I've got no pain. There's nothing wrong. So please just give me a massage and don't talk about it.
I just want silence.
Yeah.
And a massage.
Yeah, so Cancerland is a bit annoying sometimes.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Covered loads.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, just a final big shout out to Steph, who we're shouting out other people for being so kind to us. And Steph does all our editing, and he's the best. Yeah. And we love
he really
that.
Steps in and helps us when we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
And he just tells us what to do. And
what a legend. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Oh, like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah, please. Bye.